Greetings, mortals. We are the eerily captivating Section Adams, here to delve into the topics that are anything but ordinary. Our topics, or should I say our agenda, the enigmatic world of solid waste management, the chilling depths of environmental concerns, and the ominous laws that govern it all. So, grab your crystal balls, or perhaps just your notebook and pencils, and join us in this mysterious journey through the shadows of knowledge. Don't worry, we won't bite, but we might just leave you with a beautifully, hauntingly good understanding of these topics.
Hi, my name is Jave Marie Silva, and today we're going to talk about environment. So what is environment? Environment is everything that affects an organism. According to Frontier 2018 until 2019 Emerging Issue of Environmental Concern, there is an alarming concern with respect to balancing the need of advancement and environmental preservation. Why do we need to balance and preserve our environment? We need to balance and preserve it because simply says that we can't be healthy in an unhealthy environment. As a Filipino, environment is part of us. It is part of legacy that each Filipino living today could proudly leave to the future generation. Because as a Filipino, we rely on our environment to survive. Unfortunately, environmental degradation in our country has ballooned into major social concern. This is the country's worst environmental condition due to exploitation. As cited in Philippine Climate Change Commission report, major institutions have provided their projection about the country's environmental condition. Written in Executive Order Number 579 encouraged the formulation and implementation of Green Philippine Program through the NSTP. So, as an NSTP student, we must care and help to preserve our environment for the future generation.
So let's talk about climate change. Climate change is a change of statistical distribution of weather over a period of time that range from decades to millions of years. It can be change the average weather or a change in the distribution of weather events around the average, for example, greater or fewer extreme weather events. Climate change may be limited to a specific region or may occur across the whole Earth. What makes the climate change? The Earth climate influenced by many factors, mainly by the amount of energy coming from the sun, but also factors such as amount of greenhouse gases and aerosols in the atmosphere and the properties of the Earth's surface, which determine how the solar energy is retained or reflected back to space.
Continental drift. The continents that we are familiar with today were formed when the landmass began gradually drifting apart millions of years back. This drift also had an impact on the climate because it changed the physical features of the landmass, their position, and the position of water bodies. The separation of the land masses changed the flow of ocean currents and winds, which affected the climate. Continental drift proposed by Alfred Wegener in the early 20th century is a theory that Earth's continents have moved and continue to move over time. Initially met with skepticism, this idea evolved into the theory of plate tectonics, which provides a mechanism for how continents move.
Good day everyone, I am Josephine Piape and I am going to report the second part of the natural causes, which is the volcano. Volcanoes, volcanic eruptions releasing sulfur dioxide, water vapor, dust, and ash greatly impact the Earth's climate change. While their immediate effects are short-lived, they can influence climate patterns for years. So in volcanoes, there are three key findings. Number 1, sulfur dioxide impact. During a major volcanic eruption, millions of tons of sulfur dioxide gas can reach the upper atmosphere or stratosphere, resulting in a partial blockage of the incoming sunlight and subsequent cooling of the Earth's surface. So in number 2 is the formation of sulfuric acid droplets. So the combination of sulfur dioxide with water creates tiny droplets of sulfuric acid, which can remain suspended in the atmosphere for extended periods. These droplets effectively reflect sunlight, contributing the screening effect that reduces solar energy reaching the ground. Number 3 is global dissemination of aerosols. Winds in the stratosphere swiftly transport the aerosols, including the sulfuric acid, pellets, and dust particles across the global, primarily in easterly and westerly direction. However, their movement toward the poles is considerably slower. So, in conclusion, the influence of volcanic eruptions and global climate dynamics involves a complex interplay of sulfuric acid droplets, dust particles, and aerosols, resulting in a temporary cooling effect on the Earth's surface. The long-lasting impact of these events underscores the need for continued research to comprehend the full extent of volcanic influence on our planet's climate system. That's all. Thank you.
So, let's talk about the Earth's tilt. Do you know that changes in tilt of the Earth can affect the severity of the seasons? More tilt, warmer summers and colder winters. Less tilt means cooler summers and milder winters. Earth's tilt, also known as obliquity of ecliptic, is about 23.5 degrees. The tilt of Earth's axis is important in that it governs the warming strength of the sun's energy. When an object the size of the Mars is thought to have crashed into the newly formed planet Earth around 4.5 billion years ago, it knocked our planet over and left it tilted at an angle. Earth's axis is the imaginary red line. So, do you know that Unifides was the first to discover and measure the tilt? He came up with about 24 degrees around 480 BCE using geometry and measurements of the sun angles and several times of year. Then, scientists discovered that Earth's tilt has changed because of the amount of groundwater pumped by humans. Earth's tilt has changed by 31.5 inches, 80 centimeters between 1993 and 2010 because of the amount of groundwater humans have pumped from the planet's interior.
Ocean currents. It is a continuous directed movement of seawater generated by a number of forces acting upon the water, including the wind. Ocean currents are patterns of water movement that influence climate zones and weather patterns around the world. They are primarily driven by winds and by seawater density, although many other factors, including the shape and configuration of the ocean basin they flow through, influence them. An ocean current flows for great distances, and together they create the global conveyor belt, which plays a dominant role in determining the climate of many Earth's regions. For example, warm currents traveling along more temperate coasts increase the temperature of the area by warming the sea breezes that blow over them. Perhaps most striking example is the Gulf Stream, which together its extension, the North America Drift, makes Northwest Europe much more temperate for its high latitude than other areas at the same latitude.
So I'm going to tackle about human causes. So first is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is the most important gas in the atmosphere. So it plays a big role. It is the one who is responsible for regulating Earth's temperature to maintain Earth habitable. So without carbon dioxide, Earth is uninhabitable because there's no one who will balance Earth's temperature. So carbon dioxide is really important, but because of human activities such as deforestation, land clearing, and other pollutions made by humans, carbon dioxide is having a hard time to play its role because of humans. So another human causes is methane. Methane emissions primarily originating from activities such as production and transportation of natural gas and oil, livestock digestion, and decomposition of organic waste in landfills. So methane is a potent greenhouse gas with a much higher short-term warming potential than carbon dioxide, making it a significant contributor to global warming.
So let's talk about one of the greenhouse gases, which is nitrous oxide, and on how it affects our environment. So what is nitrous oxide? Nitrous oxide is also known as laughing gas. It's one of the most important greenhouse gas after methane and carbon dioxide, and also the biggest human-related threat to the ozone layer. According to Environmental Protection Agency, unlike other greenhouse gases, nitrous oxide absorbs radiation and traps heat in the atmosphere, where it can live for an average of 114 years. That puts it in a sort of middle ground of super pollutants. Compared with carbon dioxide, which can live in the atmosphere for hundreds of years, nitrous oxide is around a relatively short time. Nitrous oxide is 300 times more potent than carbon dioxide, and it also depletes the ozone layer. Since it also has a shorter lifespan, reducing it could have been a faster, significant impact on global warming. Thank you, that's all.
Nitrogen affect greenhouse gases like N2O and CH4 through its influence on the nitrogen cycle and microbial activity. Managing nitrogen sources and cycle is essential to mitigate these impacts and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Air quality. Nitrogen compounds released from vehicle emissions and industrial processes can contribute to air pollution.
So hello everybody. Now, what we can do as humans to maintain secure and living in a rich environment? Does everyone wants to live in a safe world? While we can breathe fresh air, consume clean water, and enjoy the view of the blue sky. That's because of environmental protection. It is a natural practice of protecting the natural environment or individual, organizational, or government levels for the benefit of both the natural environment and humans. For example, is waste reduction, energy efficiency, and renewable energy, etc. So first is everything is connected to everything else, because all of the things in the natural world can affect other things. Second is all forms of life are important to balance our planet. Third is everything must go somewhere because our micro effort will have a macro effect. And all of our actions have consequences not only for ourselves, but also for other living things on the planet as a whole.
Number 4. Ours is a finite Earth. Ang kalikasan ay may hangganan. Number 5. Nature knows best. Ang kalikasan ang mas nakakaalam. Number 6. Nature is beautiful and we are stewards of God's creation. Ang kalikasan ay maganda at tayo ang tagapangasiwa ng lahat ng nilikha ng Diyos. Number 7. Everything changed. Ang lahat ay nagbabago.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to introduce to you a powerful topic and practical concept that can transform the way we approach various aspects of our lives. It's known as the 5 R's, and it serves as a roadmap for mindful and sustainable living. The 5 R's encompasses 5 essential principles: reduce, reuse, repair, rot, recycle. By understanding and adopting these principles, we can contribute to a more eco-friendly and responsible lifestyle. So, in the next few minutes, we'll explore each of these R's and how they can make a significant impact on our environment, our consumption habits, and our overall well-being. It's time to embark on a journey towards a more sustainable future, starting with the 5 R's.
Reduce. Reduce is one of the 5 R's in solid waste management. Reduce means reducing the amount of waste generated in the first place. It involves cutting down on the consumption of items and resources to produce less waste. This can be achieved by using products with less packaging, avoiding single-use items, and being mindful of the overconsumption. Don't create waste if you don't have to. So here are some examples. Save up to thousands of bottles and cans per year and use refillable bottles instead of buying single-use beverage containers. Select the double-sided copy or print option for documents instead of only using one side of the paper. Use cloth bags at stores and just say no to paper and plastic. Remember, reducing waste not only benefits the environment but also conserves resources and reduces the burden on landfills. Thank you.
Reuse is an action or practice of utilizing an item, materials, or resource again, often for the same purpose or a different one after it has fulfilled its initial function. It involves extending the lifespan of a material or object by incorporating it back to use. Reuse has also economic advantage like cost saving. Reusing items or material reduces the need for purchasing new items, leading to lower expenses for individuals, and reuse minimizes the demand for raw material, reducing extraction and production costs, and less waste generated through reuse. We can say that the economic advantage of reuse encompasses saving in production and procurement costs.
Repair. Fix stuff before choosing it and buying new. And there are other words of repair. These are fix, restore, and renew. Here are some examples. First, buy a knife sharpener and revive those tarred knives. Second, buy a furniture and product that last repair, repaint, or refinish them to give them a new look. Lastly, sharpen gardening implements. A sharpened shovel or hoe makes life easier.
Okay, so the 5th R is root. So what is root? Root is the process of decaying. Kitchen scarps and yarn trimming are too valuable to bury in landfill. So kitchen scarp are parts of the food items that are typically discarded rather than eaten, like peels, rinds, cores, eggshells, seeds, bones, and coffee grounds. And yard trimming is leaves, grasses, and those things are too valuable to bury in landfills because compost makes great soil. And it's not just making our soil great, but it also has the ability to hold nutrients and deliver much needed nutrients. In each residential trash cart destined for the landfill, approximately 40% of it is food, and it is bulky and heavy. Use your green organics cart to recycle yard waste and food scraps. By using that recycle, your organic waste can save money on monthly disposal fees by reducing the size of their trash container to a smaller size. And also encourage children because children love to compost and can learn so much about science when encouraged to participate in the composting process. Always remember, the ground's generosity takes in our compost and grows beauty. So try to be more like the grounds. Thank you.
Recycle. Last but not the least, if you absolutely cannot do something else with your stuff, find a way to recycle it. Recycling is the process of converting waste products into reusable materials. Recycling differs from reuse, which simply means using a product again. Buy-in votes eliminate excess packaging that needs to be recycled. Recycle your bottles and cans and your Blue Mix recycling card or a local buyback center to get your deposit of 5 and 10 cents returned. Get off all the junk mail days here on. Recycle these items: paper, cardboard and paperboard, manila folders, newspaper, copy paper, paper grocery bags, and plastics, empty plastic bottle, buckets, metal, cans, scrap material, clean aluminum foil, glass bottles, and jars.
Recycle items. Recycle. It is taking items that have been used and convert waste into reusable material. Recycle paper. Papers is one of the easiest materials, so recycling metal, including environment benefits as well as energy saving. Recycle metal. It is the processing of taking waste metal and creating new metal. It can be used to make metal products which can be recycled once used or not needed. Recycle glass. It is the processing of waste into usable products. Glass that is crushed or imploded and ready. It is separately or segregate materials because of hazardous to accidents.
Smart waste segregation. What is wet waste? Wet waste, often referred to as organic waste or biodegradable waste, includes materials that are likely to decompose quickly. This category typically consists of food scraps, fruit and vegetable peels, garden waste, and other organic materials. Proper disposal and composting of wet waste can help reduce environmental impact and create nutrient-rich compost for gardening and agriculture.
Dry waste is composed by 3 components. We have the paper, plastic, and metal and glass. So let's talk about the paper. These are the types of paper that is classified as a dry waste. We have the tickets, bills and statements, envelopes and covers, notices, pamphlets, paper wrappers, printouts, paper plates, and newspapers.
Papers and soiled tissue paper should be discarded with debris waste. Clear any confidential paper such as bank statement or notice before disposal. Newspaper can be collected monthly and donated to NGOs who makes bags for sanitary waste.
Let's talk about plastics. These are the types of plastic that is classified as dry waste. We have plastic bags, plastic packaging, broken toys, plastic utensils, ice cream tubes, plastic bottles, bubble wrap, takeaway containers, food packets, pickle packs, and milk sachets.
Food packets and pickle packets and takeaway food containers have to be thoroughly rinsed and dry before disposal, and we can reuse it. Due to poor waste management system around the world, the majority of plastic packaging that is sent to the landfill and end up our natural environment. Billions of tons of plastics.
The metal and glass, which is aerosol cans, aluminum cans, foil, metal bottles, cups, glass bottles and jars, incandescent bulbs, tetrapack and thermocol, styrofoam. And there are some warnings in metal and glass, which is said here that do not crush aerosol cans, rinse and dry glass bottles before disposal, and also dispose broken glass, ceramic with debris waste after placing in a thick plastic paper bag.
Sanitary waste typically refers to any waste generated from human activities related to personal hygiene and healthcare. These include items like diapers, sanitary napkins, syringes, fingernails, shaving blades, earbuds, old tablets, bandages, and plasters.
So next, let's talk about proper disposal of sanitary waste. It is important to prevent environmental contamination and public health risk. It recommended to dispose of sanitary waste in designated bins or containers provided by local waste management systems. And also, proper disposal of sanitary waste is not only a matter of personal hygiene, but also contributes to a cleaner and healthier environment.
What is e-waste? E-waste or electronic waste refers to discarded or obsolete electronic devices or equipment. This can include items like old computers, smartphones, televisions, and refrigerators, and other electronic gadgets that are no longer in use. E-waste is a growing environmental concern due to the potential hazards associated with improper disposal and the valuable materials that can be recycled from these devices.
So hello everyone. So in the first video, they already tackled about the environment and the solid waste management. So we are going to tackle about the law that protects our environment. So the first Republic Act that we are going to tackle is the Republic Act of 9003. So what is this law about? It is the Republic Act of Ecological Solid Waste Management of 2000. So it adopts a systematic, comprehensive, and ecological solid waste management program that ensures the protection of the public health and environment. Also, this law ensures proper segregation, collection, storage, treatment, and disposal of solid waste through formulation and adaptation of best eco-waste product. So the example of this Republic Act is the proper segregation of waste, and also the 3 R's, the reduce, reuse, and recycle. And also, when we segregate our waste, we should do it properly, like sa malata, di malata, and the plastic. So we can also protect our environment in our own way. So that is the Republic Act of 9003.
Good day, ma'am. I am here to tackle about the Republic Act of 9275, also known as the Philippine Clean Water Act of 2004. It is a law of the Philippines that's all about keeping our water clean and safe. It makes for individuals or companies to make sure that they don't pollute our rivers, lakes, and oceans with dirty water or harmful substances. This law helps protect our environment and the health of people who rely on water clean. It also sets standards and penalties for those who don't follow the rules, making sure that everyone does their part to keep our water clean and healthy for everyone to use and enjoy.
Republic Act 6969, or Toxic Substances and Hazardous Waste Management and Nuclear Waste Control Act of 1990. This program of the DENR-EMB covers the sound and proper management of industrial chemicals and hazardous waste in all aspects of its life cycle, from importation, manufacture, distribution, transportation, use, and disposal. Republic Act No. 6969 is an act to control substances and hazardous and nuclear waste of 1990 that requires the registration of waste generators, waste transporters, and operators of toxic and hazardous waste treatment facilities with the EMB. Who shall implement this promulgation of rules and regulations? Of course, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, in coordination with the member agencies of the Interagency Technical Advisory Council. Chemicals and waste that are covered by Republic Act 6969 include mercury, cyanide, asbestos, polychlorinated biphenyls, arsenic, lead, etc. This act prohibits the following: unauthorized transport or dumping into the waters of sewage sludge or solid waste, operate facilities that discharge or allow to sip willfully or through grave negligence prohibited chemical substances or pollutants listed under Republic Act number 6969 and to water bodies should be charged some prohibited acts, fines, and penalties for some who do some violation or the violators of the law.
Republic Act 8435, Farmers and Fishers Modernization Act of 1997. It establishes the Department of Agriculture together with other appropriate agencies should consider climate change and weather disturbances, annual productivity cycles, and forecasting and formulating appropriate agricultural and fisheries program. So RA 847 talks about on how to improve the conditions of farmers and fishers folks, increase their productivity to meet the growing market locally and abroad. RA 8435 how to said that talks about on how to handle when there was a disaster like climate change and weather disturbances. We know that if there was those kinds of disaster, there's a possibility that our agriculture will decrease. So in order to not be behind other countries who also has a great agriculture and fishers folk, we have to meet this Republic Act so that we are not behind in our resources. Agriculture is one of our resources, and so para hindi tayo nakadepende sa ibang lugar na masasagana ang kanilang agrikultura, dapat din natin palaguin ang atin para hindi na tayo lagi na lang kumukuha sa ibang lugar ng mga agrikultura. So Republic Act 8435 talks about how to handle our agriculture and fishers folks well.
So now let's talk about the RA 8749 Clean Air Act of 1999. This act is implemented on June 23, 1999. This act provides for the creation of a national program of air pollution management focusing primarily on pollution prevention for the promotion of mass media communication in order to create social awareness and active participation in air quality planning and monitoring. So, ang purpose today ani na act is the passage of the Philippines Clean Air Act RA 8749 provides for a comprehensive air pollution control policy as it outlines the government's measures to reduce air pollution by including environmental protection activities into its development plans, and also it control ambient levels of criteria pollutants, particulate matter, ozone, carbon monoxide, sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides, and lead. Limit exposure to hazardous air pollutants, protect and improve visibility in natural areas. So, if kabantin mo ng mga jeep nga kanang hugaw na kayo aso is kanang dakpo na siya ay makakos po na siya o kanang polluted sa air, and napad yung mga laing mga reason nga manong ma-pollute ang air. So that is why nga kanang hindi ko ani nga law sa government para ma-monetize bitaw siya o dili siya mas grabe ang problem sa air pollution. Kay because based on study is ang air pollution DI is one of the causes of cardiopulmonary diseases, and the increase in air pollution related deaths weakens the body's defenses against assorted viruses and bacteria. And also mo ni siya ang isa sa ka-reason nga daghan kay ang namatay sa lung cancer.
RA 95112 National Environmental Awareness and Education Act of 2008, also known as RA 95112, created as an act to promote environmental awareness through environmental education and for other purpose. This act, which is a consolidation of Senate Bill number 1699 and House Bill number 4381 was finally passed by the Senate and the House of Representatives on October 8, 2008, and was approved on December 12, 2008 by former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. And also there's our example of RA 95112 is planting rice or planting trees and so on, like another planting kind of planting.
Republic Act 9513, also known as the Renewable Energy Act of 2008, is a crucial piece of legislation in the Philippines, as it is designed to advance the country's renewable energy sector. Its primary goal is to encourage the growth and adoption of the country's energy sources and to see if it is sustainable and environmentally friendly. The law aims to promote the development of renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, hydro, geothermal, and biomass, and facilitate their utilization for power generation. Moreover, the Act fosters the commercialization of renewable energy technologies, making them more accessible and cost-efficient for both businesses and consumers. By doing so, it reduces the nation's dependence on non-renewable energy sources, like fossil fuels, that are harmful to the environment and are cost or subject to price fluctuations. Republic Act 9513 plays a pivotal role in the transition towards a more sustainable and eco-friendly energy landscape in the Philippines, contributing to energy security and environmental protection.